And one thing I remember after we were married, I felt so vulnerable. I've always told myself I will know my husband if I could just be me. When I'm saying me, I'm not talking about mentally, but even physically, spiritually. And that's exactly how I felt with you.
All right, hey guys, and welcome back to One More Day.
Welcome back, guys. We missed you.
Yes, I'm your host, SJ.
And I'm Diva Mile.
So what's up? You're looking very sexy today.
I am.
Yeah, not that you don't look sexy every day, but it's definitely...
You heard that, guys? You
No,
said today.
no. Like, there's this vampy thing going on. It's giving me like a Janet Jackson vibe.
Oh, honey, you're so sweet.
Yeah.
I know you love this look. You always tell me, oh, honey, I love your natural hair. Ta-da!
Yeah, and I like the dark lip. It's like a good, like...
Oh, okay. It's funny. I mixed it up today.
Yeah.
It's actually a red and a brown all together.
What's that song that Janet Jackson had? Dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
boom, boom, boom. Anyway.
Don't get me started.
I know, right? And we don't have clearance. We don't have no copyright on that song. Go ahead, Miss Janet. You are Miss Jackson, though.
Oh, yeah.
See, people don't even know. She's Miss Jackson if
And
you're
my
nasty.
middle name's Janet. What a coincidence.
Okay, now we can't get into lying. Help us, Jesus.
Man, I know.
So, topic of the day is...
One more day. What is it, honey?
One more day. We're adding a new theme song. We discussed earlier, as we were getting ready, how we would like to talk about how opposites attract.
Yeah.
Do you know that song? We go together like opposites attract. It ain't a different, it's a natural fact. Whose song is
You're
that?
gonna wake up the baby.
I know.
No, I don't know.
That's not Paula Abdul? I don't know. You know what? This is not a jukebox. It's not a jukebox moment because you know I will be a jukebox all day.
You are a jukebox.
Don't do it.
You know every song. He has a song for everything, by the way.
It's okay. It's okay. It has paid in dividends. It has paid my bills. Knowing every song.
Pay your bills. You pay a telephone bill.
Proud former wedding singer. Here we go.
There we
Anyway, so what?
Yeah.
I'll let you start since you so wonderfully.
You always want me to start, but you know what? I don't mind.
When editing this episode, I was editing one of the episoes, and she was like, "Oh, honey, you start." So I'm just returning the favor.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Wow.
So what you into?
No, opposite. Opposite attracts. Okay, we're totally opposite.
What?
You know, you're a male, I'm a female, and so we're attracted to each other.
Yeah.
And learning that
there's so many jokes in that you and I could get canceled for, so we're so glad that we have our inner monologue.
You're going there?
No, I'm just saying, I'm letting the listeners know that our minds are always running, so let's just keep all of our inner jokes.
You know what? No, I hear it. I feel it. I got you.
Yeah.
But you always hear that. You always hear opposites attract.
Yeah.
You know, and we can share a little bit of how that has benefited our relationship.
No. You can share what you're like. I think that, because see, you're setting it up. I want to know before me, this opposite attract idea, you know, is it something you were even open to, or were you even thinking about just your ideals and that's what's going to work for you? Because sometimes that's not far from, in my opinion, what you already are. So how does that look to you pre-SJ?
Pre-SJ. Okay, so I mean, I'm a third culture kid. I was born in Swaziland, that's in Africa, Swatini. Grew up a little bit.
Oh, is that even right?
No, we actually do that in one of our traditional dances, and grew up a little bit in New York, and then moved to Taiwan.
New York.
I've been living New York, from New York. My daughter.
That's too much.
And obviously, I've been residing here in Taiwan for the past 20-something years. So one thing I always hoped for in my husband was he is either well-traveled, he understands what it's like to be a third culture kid or person. And not to be stuck in one specific, I guess,
mindset. Not complacent, really.
Not complacent. Yeah. And so with us, you know, when we were dating on the phone on Instagram, you know, we were just talking as friends before we made it official, and we realized that we were opposite, but we had so much in common, if that makes sense. We like the same things, we hope for similar dreams, but after marriage there's a lot of things that you bring up to me and I'm like, huh, what?
You know what, you're being very nice and so complimentary. I want to give the audience a little bit of, I'm not going to say dirt, but what were the superficial requirements you had for a man before you got married?
Superficial, you know, after I think I had to rip my list. You know, when I met you, I was like, okay, never mind.
That's so funny.
No, I did though. Superficial, tall, handsome, charming. I was specific, like head had to be right on his shoulder, which is so funny. That's how it's like, actually.
Oh wow.
You said superficial.
No. I'm just commenting on the fact that it is exactly that. Yeah.
I mean, why are you asking that question?
We're talking about opposites attract. What do you mean, where is it going? You know, we just had this conversation.
I'm not talking about in the physical. I'm also talking about in personality.
I'm talking about the different aspects of opposites attract. So I'll go. I had an ideal, and a lot of times because I'm in the acting world, I would just see certain actresses and I would kind of model my dating pool after that. And men are very visual, and I understand that women, you know, you mentioned things like charming. I was thinking like, okay, if it's not Aaliyah, if it's not Halle Berry, if it's not Michelle Williams, you know, different people that I was like finding an attraction to for not necessarily all the right reasons, but just the kind of the fleshly reasons, but also they were fitting a certain mold. I think
they had to be celebrities.
They didn't have to be celebrities, but those celebrities became my particular prototype until one day I told you this story. I was on a gig, on my way to a gig with a fellow musician who was driving us to the gig, and he was listening to my grievances about somebody I was dating at the time. And I had mentioned her body type, and, you know, I was just mentioning her size and all that stuff, not in a negative way, but just kind of telling him my desires. And he said to me, you don't like her, you like a thing. And when he said it, my spirit was like, oh, shoot. No, he did not just check me like this in this car on my way to Pennsylvania to a $500 gig. Like what, like I was like, so the reason why I asked you what was your physical type is because it didn't seem like it was at the forefront of your mind. It seemed like you were looking for, and maybe that's speaking to the male and female dynamics that are already different and opposite in mindset. You're looking for a man who has his wits about himself. I was looking for certain qualities of a woman, of course, but I had these stipulations that were very contingent upon her physical for me even to approach.
I see what you mean. You know? Okay, yeah. In that case, of course, when I was a little bit younger, I would look at the Hollywood look, you know, the Morris Chestnut, the Brad Pitt.
Then again, I named Aaliyah, Halle Berry.
Yeah, no, really.
Yeah.
But in reality, I did, you know, want someone that would exemplify how my dad looks like. Charismatic. You walk in a room, people want to
see. That's not look like. That's the impression he gives off to people.
No, I'm also talking about even features.
Okay.
I had this thing that I want it to be like my parents. They're skinny together when they're young, and then they're chubby together when they're older.
That's
Everything's
hilarious.
proportional.
That's hilarious.
You know. Yeah, I know, right?
But isn't it funny that, you know, now that we're married, you just realize how, I realized this before I was married, obviously, because I wouldn't even I wouldn't even want you to marry me if I hadn't got over some of that. Number one, I would want you to see
True.
that those things need to completely be eradicated mentally before you get into a new scenario.
Don't be bringing that over here.
No, because you're always going to be wanting this person to be this thing.
Always.
And I realized in a previous relationship that the character did not match the desire for the physical. The character just wasn't top notch. And you wish people well. We don't damn anyone in that way. But when I think about it, I'm like, wow, the very things that you think you want, if you don't know the person, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I really encourage people out there who are so caught up in physical things or even monetary things. It's like, what is the character of the person?
That doesn't last. It doesn't last. And one thing I remember after we were married, I felt so vulnerable. I've always told myself I will know my husband if I could just be me. When I'm saying me, I'm not talking about mentally, but even physically, spiritually. And that's exactly how I felt with you. Like there was no hesitation of like, oh, let me go hide, or I'm coming out of the bathroom, honey, are you around?
Sure. Trying to cover yourself
just
up
feel
or
free.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
why is that? Why do you think that? What about our dynamic let your guard down, you think?
I think once again those things that were superficial, that was thrown out of the window, and we were able to really see ourselves.
Right. Or see each other, right?
Each
because
other.
if you didn't think
See
I saw
yourself.
you,
Yeah.
if you didn't think I saw you in who you are, then whatever, because the thing is, every human being has insecurities.
Everyone.
And I think that they are magnified times 20 when you are with somebody 24/7 and you can't be in the bed with them, whatever you're doing, and hide because they'll be like, you're looking crazy. Like I done married you. We done locked it down. What you doing?
Exactly.
I'm not hoping that you take those things and put them into a suitcase when we settle down, because that's not how it works. If you want to change something about yourself, I mean, we can discuss it, but and there are things that you can do if you really must, but they shouldn't be on the expense of somebody not being satisfied with who you are.
Absolutely.
That's a dangerous place to be.
Oh man. I remember our vows. I said to you, I would like to see you the way God sees you, And if you really allow God to open your eyes to see your spouse the way God sees them, man, you will celebrate everything.
Absolutely.
You won't miss out. You would actually be like, what? I almost missed out on this. And the things that are fake just go away. The thoughts that were a lie and became a reality are also they flee away.
Yeah.
And you just celebrate what's in front of you.
Yeah, you have to stay in the relevance of now. You really can't sit in the past or what your ideals were. So I guess letting the people who are listening know or watching know, what do you think are the things that maybe surprised you in marriage that were so opposite to what you knew in terms of our dynamic?
I would say, okay, so when we were talking earlier, we talked a lot about theater. We talked a lot about acting.
You mean in the dating process, online?
And how we both love entertainment and fashion, the Lord. That's very
definitely
important.
Jesus.
Hallelujah. And then after getting to know you more and being married, I noticed you're like a dictionary, I would say.
An encyclopedia.
I can barely say it myself, but you're just so informative. You give so much information.
Oh, thank you.
Whether you're interested in it or not, you're always your mind is always stimulated with new information.
That's true.
And that's exciting for me because my dad's like that, and my mom too. But I always enjoyed watching them just sitting in the living room and mom listening to dad most of the
Shout
time
out to Baba and Mage
about life and what he's learned in the past. But also what was opposite very extremely opposite was your knowledge of the industry, the entertainment industry. Oh my goodness. You know every name, every song, every movie.
It definitely put in work.
Yeah.
But
and I know it's for work. You did that for work.
And passion, if you're passionate about it. But what's so funny is you're so naturally talented, and this is a whole kind of another scenario, but there's a lot of stuff that I've been striving for, I've been an encyclopedia about, but when seeing you, and even when 2 Januaries ago, I guess it was at this point, you had your concert.
Oh yeah.
Just the different ways that God was opening doors for you in those things. It's like you just walked into him.
Okay.
And that lesson of the reason I was about to say wheezing, the reason why that is so impactful to me as a person who's opposite of you is I would put so much high stakes on the failure aspect and striving for it that I didn't just trust God in a lot of those situations, just let me walk through the door. So seeing you be signed to a label, have this concert hall ready for you, people really showing up, really being there for you, people wanting to rise to the occasion, all these different things you've been doing here on television, and people, showcasing your store, showcasing you as a person. It just speaks to how I needed to see the other side of what that looks like without trying so hard.
Yeah.
And overthinking it and thinking that this is the only way it can happen, as opposed to just
it has to be perfect for it to happen, right?
Right. Laying low, and really staying in your lane as opposed to trying to replicate somebody else's. And I'm not saying I did that, but there was a sense for me of, okay, I have to model this after this particular person's career in my own skin. But then you can really do a lot more if you're just modeling it after how God sees you. Like somebody's going to look at you and be like, oh, I love that about what he did. And they might have the same struggle that I had, but eventually they'll be like, well, it's not going to happen exactly how it happened for him.
No.
And that is one of the lessons, I think, of why we're even together. Because if I got with somebody else who's just striving, upset that it's not happening their way and not trusting God in it, I would always think that it's just an unfair life to everybody who's pursuing any dream. So God had to show me through you, like, no, she don't run it like that. Like, you're really high strung about it. And she's just like, yeah, well, bless God. Thank you so much. I'm just gonna, you're a speaker. You're like, I'm just gonna have a concert. Let's just have a concert.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what does that come from for you?
Faith.
Yeah.
Faith. Definitely, since I was young, my faith was never shaken that much. It came easily. I had this thing where I really want to be obedient to God and listen to his instructions. And so as soon as I hear his instructions, yes, I question it. I'm like, really, is it possible? But there's just this zeal or this excitement to go for it.
Yeah.
But
a confidence. I think that we can't deny that. I think that we got together with confidence, knowing that we were pursuing something that had a foundation. But I think that when you start peeling back the layers and you're married to somebody, you're like, okay, I see that it's almost like one of those bar graphs where there's different levels of how much confidence do you have in this and this and that. It's not all across the board the same.
You know what? You're right. Because now that I think about how we even met, there was, for me, I heard from the Lord that you'll meet your husband in August. It's like, what? This I heard in July, August. That's when we connected.
Yeah, we did.
Of course, I didn't know you were my husband, but
right.
I remember you told me, I would have not continued this conversation if you never pursued, like you never even said in the middle of our chat, hey, we're into each other, right?
Oh my goodness.
That's like how opposite we are.
She was so direct.
Yeah.
And I was at the point where I was intentional. People who watch the story on our YouTube channel, I was intentional about finding a wife because I felt like that pandemic really smacked me in the face. And I was like, what am I doing with my life? Just pursuing all this stuff with nobody to share it with. And so when you were like, yeah, so we're into each other, right? I'm just like, who is this? Yeah. It's almost like you're not even ready for somebody to say that to you so directly, because I don't think sometimes people are ready to be that transparent.
Yeah. I mean, I surprised myself, but that's how I could be sometimes in life. Very direct, ask a question, go for it, curious, and be like, oh, It
actually makes me a little nervous now. It actually makes me nervous now because when you say it, I was building up the confidence to really, you know what it is? When you've dealt with rejection romantically, or you feel like you've been kind of striking out, you approach things very, very slowly so that you don't get hurt.
I see.
And I was into you, but when you said it and solidified it, that just makes it a responsibility on my end to rise to the occasion of the very thing that I'm pursuing. So that's where you really grow up. It's not like I wasn't into you. Clearly, I said yes, but this time of not that many. There's been other moments, but because you said it, it was a please pass go. Please collect $200. It wasn't this thing of like, I'll just be like honest. It wasn't this thing like, oh, well, we're really good friends. Praise the Lord for a good sister in Christ. She's going to be my pal. We'll go to church together. We might even see a movie together. But you know what? Yeah. It's another pal of mine. Good job, Diva Mile. Yeah. And then, because listen, I've been hit with the whole like, the Lord's going to bring you a great wife. And I'm sitting here like, but isn't it you?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, with this volume. But isn't my wife you? Yeah. Like, if I'm spending time with you, and then you wonder, like, are we two opposite? Yeah. Like, what's going on? We're seeking God together. We're laughing. We're joking. We're doing all these things. What's not good enough for you? For you to prompt yourself to be like, and I don't know why some women do that. Some men might do it too, but I don't know. I don't think it's the same dynamic. I don't think that males, for the most part, this is maybe a whole different conversation, but I don't see men a lot string women along to the point where they're friend zoned with no romantic connection. That's not, men usually don't waste their time in that way if they know she's not interested. I'm not saying I've been one of those men. I have made the mistake too many times.
Because us women also really enjoy the emotional part of the relationship of friendship.
Right.
And being needed that way. Another thing that is this similar but different with us, we're both connectors. We love connecting people.
Oh yeah.
Meaning that we are the people where most people come to us to open up and share. And so,
but that's not opposite. They do it to both of us.
They do it to both of us, but the difference is, let's say we're hosting someone. I love that I don't know, you converse well with people,
Sometimes Diva Mile will be in those situations where I'm conversing with someone. Mind you,
I'm the one making the jokes.
Mind you, I'm the one conversing, right? I'm the one conversing with them after probably making a meal from scratch.
That's another thing. You cook the meals, and I'm like the one by the bar entertaining people before they really dig in.
But Diva Mile, I feel, will have a smile and make a joke, but she's completely checked out a little bit.
I'm like, you got this, honey.
I hate to say it, but in theater, we say you're dead behind the eyes. So you're just like, and you're like, well, where's the life in it? And so Diva Mile would be like, yeah, so you like that? Good. And I'll be in full deep conversation with the person on no sleep, but Diva Mile gets away with it because I don't like the conversation to drag on. And there's the thing about, especially when a guest is slightly overstaying their welcome and not knowing when to wrap it up. As Dave Chappelle said, wrap it up. Hey family, if you've been enjoying this podcast today, please be sure to
subscribe and hit that notification bell.
Thank you so much for your support. Now back to today's episode. But yes, that's a good observation or just kind of like fact that You're a great host too, because we host together. But I definitely will keep the whole ambiance flowing quickly.
Yeah. All of a sudden there's jazz music and all.
Oh yeah, you gotta have the bossa nova.
Yeah.
I love a bossa nova.
I know you do.
I don't know why I'm saying a bossa nova.
Yeah, we need to go there.
Anyway, trying to sing
quality time there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so a lot was revealed just in us being married, 2 years? We're opposite, but it works out.
It works out, and we hope that through conversations like these, we start to see more and more that the opposite things just basically they refine the other person the other way. Like they don't clash. They complement. Mm-hmm. The opposite things complement. But this was fun to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we could go on and go on, but
we'll save it for the next. Yeah, we'll save it for the next podcast. Hopefully, you guys get something out of it. Continue to support our channel.
Yes, one more day.
Yes, support our different stores. We have some merch right here. We're sporting Just Be Blessed.
Just Be Blessed t-shirt.
Which is what? What is Just Be Blessed, Diva Mile?
It's one of the songs from
In the mic, please, love.
Oh yeah, look at me, look at my t-shirt. Just Be Blessed is actually one of the songs that I released early last year. There like a tree, planted by streams of water, which brings its fruit and seeds.
Don't stress.
Just check it out on my YouTube page, Diva Mile.
Yes.
You will be blessed when you listen to this song.
And you killed it. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I killed it. And I had a great coach, too.
Very humble, huh? Usually people say thank you.
No, it's a special
I'm glad
song.
You're confident
it's
about
it. It's a special
Yeah.
song.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an anthem for everyone to just always remember to be blessed in life.
Shout out to Steve Wallace on production on that. He did such a great job. And,
shout out to my husband, SJ, for directing and not producing, but directing the music video.
Oh, no problem. There was some vocal production, but no problem.
I was going there. Just insert. No, it's all good.
No. It's good. It was a joy, and you guys pick up your T-shirts. We have merch from Diva Mile's stuff, and we have some other things coming that we have in the can. But thank you guys so much once again for joining us for one more day.
We love you guys.
Ciao.
Talk to you soon. Bye.